Patrick from Florida, who wants to talk about pantheism being the most plausible option. Patrick, take it away, sir.
Yes, it's been relatively quiet. Hey, I'd like to give it up to call screener Cole, Cull. I think he has some good input on some things. And it's been quiet here. Now it's going to get loud right when I get on the call. But you may want to consider him as a host. I would say kudos to him. But I just wanted to read this out about the take of Einstein and see what you guys think about this. What he said here is part of it. According to biographer Walter Isaacson, Einstein was more inclined to denigrate atheists than religious people. Einstein said in correspondence, the fanatical atheists are like slaves who are still feeling the weight of their chains which they have thrown off after hard struggle. They are creatures who, in their grudge against the traditional, quote, opium of the people, cannot bear the music of spheres. And I just wanted to see what you guys' take was on that. And furthermore, he said that my position concerning God is that of an agnostic. And that's my position on this. I would say since about age 8, I was an agnostic, undecided, either way, neither having faith nor disbelief in God.
So there's a couple of things I'd like to sort of push back on there just to get us started. 3 things, really. One, I don't care what Einstein said. That is not, he can have his opinions, and I care what he did as a scientist. But I do not agree with his take on atheism as us basically being angry because we don't like religion. There may be a phase in people, especially if they deconstruct, that they are angry at the religion that they used to believe in, mainly because it sucks to feel like you've been lied to your whole life. That can really chafe. But a lot of atheists get over that. They become far more cool, calm, and collected. And all of the folks who have deconstructed here at the ACA are far more chill about that kind of thing and come at the subject from a far more cerebral standpoint. On that point, the reason why we're doing what we're doing, the reason why we call ourselves atheists and why we are gnashing our teeth and flapping our gums and doing call-in shows is because belief informs action. And when people believe things for bad reasons, the actions they take can be bad. If you look at the situation here in America, not to get too political, the insertion of certain theistic notions is causing harm to people I care about, harm to whole groups of people I care about. So that's why I do what I do as an atheist. And thirdly and lastly, I'm an agnostic too. Gnostic and agnostic are about knowledge. Theism and atheism are about belief. So if you don't actually believe there's a God, whether you know there's a God or not, then you are technically an atheist. But of course, there are connotations around the words agnostic and atheist. And I very much deliberately call myself an atheist because I want to take a firm stand on this. But I don't know either. I'm an agnostic atheist. So what do you think about that there, Patrick?
Well, as far as saying an agnostic atheist or an agnostic theist, you could be an agnostic theist. That's an adjective use of the word. I'm talking about the noun. I am the noun. There are 3 distinct different nouns: atheist, theist, and agnostic. You are not an agnostic as an atheist, so sorry to inform you.
I completely disagree, and they're all nouns. They are a description of a state, and they are separate.
It's not a thing you can. It's not a thing you can disagree to.
I don't believe there's a God, and I don't know if there's a God. That's agnostic atheism. If I don't believe there's a God and I know there's not a God, I am an agnostic atheist. If I do believe there's a God, but I don't know for certain that there is one, I'm an agnostic theist. But if I know there's a God for certain and I believe therefore there is a God for certain, I am a Gnostic theist. Gnosticism and agnosticism, theism and atheism are separate, somewhat overlapping concepts, and so yes, you can be an agnostic atheist, and you saying that you can't does not make it so. These are logical opposites. They are true dichotomies. I know or I don't know. I believe or I do not believe. There is no middle. It is the law of excluded middle. There's no middle ground on this. Agnosticism is not the middle ground between theism and atheism. It is a separate thing.
Patrick, does the label matter to you? Because I'll just quickly share my kind of position on what these labels mean. I do not give a toss. I can explain my, the position I hold using words. I do not believe that a God exists. It's as simple as that. I don't need to label myself as anything. I hate labels personally. I for the sake of simplicity, when having these conversations who don't know me, I will call myself an atheist just for the sake, because that's the easiest term that the largest number of people recognize as you do not believe God exists. However, how does that pertain to pantheism being the most plausible option? Because that's what you're called in to talk about. I'm with Jamie on the Einstein thing. What somebody else's belief is irrelevant as to whether we should believe it or not. What is your position on the pantheism thing? Do you think that essentially pantheism being the identity of God being the universe, do you think that is the case, and why do you think that?
Yes. Well, what I would say is, having looked at it, and I'm really mainly agnostic. And like I said, the noun agnostic, not the adjective like agnostic atheist. There is a noun there that, agnostic, neither having faith nor disbelief in God. Yes, that does exist if you look it up. And I am one, and you guys are not agnostics, I can tell you. But
Patrick, I thought we'd left the label thing aside. Do you believe that the universe is pantheistic? Do you believe that the universe is pantheistic? I did ask the question, and it had nothing to do with how you label yourself. Do you believe that the universe is pantheistic?
I would say, from my perspective, the favor lies in the hand of the pantheist over the atheist. And here's why: because with the universe being God, Einstein's God, the God of Spinoza, that's a natural God. A pantheist is a naturalist, just like an atheist is. Atheists are big on natural, the science. A pantheist is down with all of that. And furthermore, the universe, like I said, is an observable God. We've been collecting on evidence. All the evidence.
The universe God?
So that's a lot of evidence. That's a lot of evidence if that's true. Now, the term
we have the right, Patrick. We have the evidence that the universe exists. I agree. Is the universe God? That's the question that we're asking. We accept the universe exists. We can dispense with any evidence for the universe. We accept the universe exists. Is the universe, in your opinion, God?
I would say science lend heavily towards that. I'm an agnostic.
Science does not lean heavily to that at all. Science says absolutely, Patrick, science says absolutely fuck all about the universe being God. It says that the universe exists. I am specifically asking you if you think that the universe is God.
I'd say I couldn't be certain of that, I would say...
Neither can we, Patrick, because we're agnostic atheists. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I'd say look, I'll say it this way. It's a very plausible option.
Okay, well,
why is it plausible? Let's explore that.
Yeah, why is it plausible? So, what defines God in your eyes? Because we can all observe the universe, and we all know like there's fundamental laws of nature. But what would differentiate me just calling it the universe or reality, and you calling it God? What makes your pantheistic God God? What makes it God?
Well, it wouldn't be my God. First off, if God, if it exists as a God, it would be even atheist God. Even atheists would be included. That would just be like some part of God.
So do you believe it has intelligence?
Paradox. You won't let me speak. If you let me speak for a minute, I can explain my view on all this, but you keep jumping right in over me. And
okay, Patrick, I will give you an entire minute of silence to yourself starting now.
Great. Okay, pantheism, the God of Spinoza, the God of Einstein. I saw a video by Kaku on this. He said science and physics shows us that the universe is designed elegantly. It shows an order. It didn't have to be that way, Kaku said. Kaku apparently is an authority on theoretical physics, so he would know. And so he said it didn't have to be that way. It's ordered. That's what Einstein saw. It's an observable God. It's a God we can actually observe. I think it may be a falsifiable claim, because if you can observe it, we might need to give science more time to determine that, but I am more agnostic. I don't know either way. I would just say, having looked at all arguments, atheists or theists, that's the most plausible option out there to me, but I don't know.
So that's about a minute. The most plausible option, because all you've told us so far in everything that you have said is that you are equating the universe with God. That's all you've told us. You've not told us any of the qualities of this God, whether you think it's intelligent.
Can we communicate with it? Can it change things at our whim? Is there a plan? Does it have agency? Does it create miracles? Can it do things outside of what we understand as the natural order? There are so many things that define gods, and you haven't done any of that apart from to say it appears designed, and we've already gone over that in earlier calls. We don't think it does appear designed, and if a couple of people say so, we don't really care. It's not the consensus.
Listen, Patrick, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate the call. I want you to call back, but when you call back, I want you to think about what it is precisely that you're trying to communicate with us, because all that we've got from you so far is that you are equating the universe with God. You're just redefining one word to another word. If that's the case, if that is literally all you're talking about, then it's irrelevant to me. I have no interest in that whatsoever. If there's something more that you're trying to talk about, and by the way, Spinoza didn't just do what you've done. He didn't just equate the universe with God. He thought there was an actual intelligent God that existed. This is so much very, very often misunderstood about Spinoza. We get this idea that Spinoza's God is just being God equated with the universe. It's not the case. He actually believed that God existed. So do you share Spinoza's view that God actually existed and is one in the same with the universe? And if so, how would you differentiate what I would call the universe and what you are calling the universe? What properties, in addition to those that we know the universe has, would you say that your God has, which differentiates between that and the universe?
Yeah, define your God. And the thing that really got me about that conversation, and I'll leave it after this, is the phrase that came up that Patrick said, which was an atheist God. And I'm like, that is literally a contradiction in terms. You can't have an atheist God, because if there is a God and we believe in it, we are no longer atheists.